Right team, so this is my barn, and in my barn you can see this is where we have all of the storage for the core business. Core business being the restaurant, the retail. This is a foyer area, and the foyer area until 6 months ago did not have that. We built this specifically for growing indoors. We have the towers outside, which you will have seen. We decided to bring them indoors and create this. We built this for literally under $2,500, which is really good. So you can see this is refrigeration. To my right there, you've got the walk-in chiller. And this is my walk-in fresh larder, I suppose is one way of looking at it, where we then grow all the stuff to go into the restaurant. So why don't we go and have a look in there? Wow, it's bright in here. So as you can see, to my left, we have only 3 towers left. We basically are about to move indoors, so I thought this was the perfect time to now explain where we're going. Why are you smiling at me?
Because you said we're about to move indoors.
Wow, it's bright in here and it's warm. So we're about to move outdoors, which is then going to be the start of our outdoor growing season. And what we're going to do is convert this room into a full-blown exotic mushroom production unit, which is going to be amazing. I'll show you how that works. Let me break down how this room works. Mr. Cameraman behind you is actually Alex, who helped me build out this environment. So we're going to talk about what we've done to create this, and then it's so easy to replicate your end, but of course we can come and help you if you wish. So let's have a chat about that. Right team, let's talk lights. As you can see, I'm wearing these what look like ridiculous glasses, but actually these LED lights are really, really powerful. I say powerful, on energy consumption they're amazing. They're 250 watts each. We've got 6 of them in here at the moment, and that is the equivalent of half of one of those domestic oil-fired radiators that you would see in your house. So they are a full spectrum light. They've got a little bit of ultraviolet, but they've got majority blue and some red in there, and they're absolutely perfect for growing a wide variety of different crops. You may have seen on Amazon and all of these other setups these very purple or pink hued lights, which, don't get me wrong, they have their purpose. If you are growing one specific type of crop, then you would go for that, because that light has been designed specifically for that crop type and it's giving exactly what it needs. But for a broad spectrum like we're doing with this, then this type of lighting is absolutely perfect. So we have these all rigged into a timer, so they go off automatically. They're on at the moment for 14 hours a day, which is the perfect amount of how it would be in seasons outdoors for this type of growing. So that's essentially the lights. It's really easy to set up. We put them on chains. We don't need to move them because they're as in up and down, they're the right type of height. We've got them. So we did some work with the lighting manufacturer, and we worked out the perfect height above the towers. So these are the types of lights that we will be using in our big commercial greenhouse that we're about to grow. They are brilliant for this, and they are proper commercial lights as well. So that's how our lighting works. Right, let's talk about air and the importance of extracting it and moving it, because it is really, really important. We had the beginning of the previous season, we did a brilliant job of growing in a cabin which had 0 extraction whatsoever, and the humidity got up to 95%. It was nearly at 100%, and it was absolute carnage. So you got massive mildew, you got some serious issues with the growth, and it actually killed it. So we learned the hard way that it's really important to do the extraction correctly. So I'm pointing around about here, and if you look behind me, you will see in the roof there is what is an inline fan. That inline fan is doing a brilliant job of moving this entire volume's worth of air every minute. So this room will basically come in and be extracted every minute, and that is good enough for then what we're looking at with growing all of these things. As I say, if you don't, this is really important, if you don't get proper extraction in place, and you don't need a highfalutin computer or anything like that, you just need to do some trials. Maybe put a humidity gauge into your system, just play around with turning the fans on. So there's one that you can see there, that's the in, and then there's another out, which is above me over there. And that just moves the air perfectly. You get it, you do some trialing, and then you just set and forget. Don't have to worry about it. It's perfect, and it's a really, really simple way of doing it. Right, team, so let's talk about the way that we actually created the room, which was incredibly easy, frankly. Now, the reason you can see, I've gone for this double-walled polycarbonate type of material. Now, I went for that for two reasons. Firstly, I really wanted my staff, the guys in the kitchen, to not forget that they've got this living larder here, and actually having it so that the lighting is shining through and the towers are visible is actually a really good way of doing that. Now, if you wanted to create, last year we actually created something that sat on the side of the restaurant and was completely see-through. So as much as I've gone for the double wall polycarbonate, you can make it so this is completely see-through, and that therefore creates that ambience, that theatre for people coming into your environment. It's really, really simple. So we literally, all we did, 4x2 pieces of wood, created the frame that went around here, bought these units in here. It was really, really easy. The whole of the structure took about 2 days for a builder and a carpenter to make. Right, behind me you can see a white wall. That white wall is very, very simply painted with a white emulsion paint, but on top of it, we then put a fungicide. So it's a paint on top of that that basically stops fungus from growing as much as possible. The floors, you can buy the concrete paint that you would find in a normal warehouse. White, admittedly, was slightly harder to find than the normal colours, but we really want to have that reflection as much as possible, so that's why the floors are white. Then we've got, just in the background then, how we're working. We're taking reference of the humidity. The humidity is daily, but then the pH of the water is weekly. The EC is tested in each of the units weekly as well. And then we also have a harvesting document that just talks about what's coming out and actually then where it's going within the business. Is it going into the retail environment, into the fruit and veg, or is it going to my chefs who then use it and turn it into something thoroughly delicious? So you can see what's going on in here is that. Let's talk about the actual growing and how that works. Right, this little blue thing in the background, that is something called a dosatron. And a dosatron is an incredibly simple way, no computers, nothing, way of getting water to the towers without there being the need for you to do anything more than a once a week fill up and maintenance of the actual liquid nutrient. So it works via positive water pressure coming out of the tap. So you plug in that positive water pressure into, you can see the white thing coming down, that would have a water coming in. It goes up there, you can see there are two little bowsers underneath, one with liquid nutrient A, one with liquid nutrient B, and with pressure, it then takes it up there, moves it across there, sucks each of them up into that black tank. The black tank is then a mixed level of liquid nutrients, and another feed simply by gravity then comes to each of the different towers within the environment. They've got a ball cock in them, which basically allows them to call upon water when their water level is too low in the actual tower. I mean, it's literally like a toilet. It's so damn easy to use, and you just don't need, I mean, we look after these once every 3 weeks just to make sure, but once that is a very large amount of liquid nutrients, and as long as you haven't got too many towers in the environment, then you're talking about once every 3 weeks worth of maintenance. So that's how the watering works. We've got another video which is going to go into it in a lot more depth, and in fact, if this is of interest to you, and all of this is, we've got a load of new stuff coming out, so if you want to subscribe to this channel and just give me a like, that would be incredibly useful for us moving forward. So that's pretty much it really in terms of the actual growing. It's now down to the harvesting and how that integrates into the core business. Right, we're going to talk. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about propagation of seedlings, because obviously that beautiful thing comes from something and it needs to be grown in a slightly different fashion. So the way we have done it this year anyway is we have got what is a grow tent. So this grow tent is an incredibly easy way of putting seedlings production going on in here. We've just got some strip lights. I'll do another video on this. We've got some horticultural lights in there. We've got seedlings going on. They are constantly being fed manually as opposed to actually on an automated system. But it's a really good way of just creating another environment for them to be producing. Right, why are we doing this? That's the biggie. That's the question. When you look at the seasonality of growing, obviously there is really nothing coming out of the garden for about 5 months of the year. And what this does is it allows us to have a continuous feed of product going into our kitchen, going into our restaurants. I mean, this system will grow 950% more produce in the space. It uses 5% water compared to normal agriculture. It is a brilliant way of maximizing up a space. Maybe you might have it in a warehouse, you might have it, just your back room in the restaurant, where you can suddenly have the consistency of growing produce for your situation all year round. And as you can see, I mean, it is incredibly healthy. This system, it automates the whole process, and the actual produce that comes out of it is massively dense in nutritional value. It's amazing. My guys love it, and it's such a good way of then engaging customers, getting stuff for your Instagram feed, all of those key things that puts you one above your competition by doing this. And it really isn't that big an investment or that much hassle to actually be able to produce the produce. So I mean, as you can see, I'm totally obsessive about it, and it is what it is, but it's really, really not difficult to do. And if you guys want more information on it, I'm more than happy to discuss it, put you into appropriate contacts, things like that. No worries at all. Just get in touch. All right, thanks very much.